Welcome back to the ninth episode of the Brotherly Love Ball podcast. I'm Christopher Colman here with Theo Kuchar, and it's been a while, Theo.
hmm
It's been
Over a
over a
month.
month, actually, so we're
Haven't been
back
on
at
the
it.
pod since last year.
Yep, and we've had a lot of union moves, so we'll be going through that. If we have time, we'll also look into some other MLS moves from across the league. So we'll just kick right off into the
hmm
union moves. So Suri Larson, center back, coming in from Danish club SK Braun, and this kind of looks like a replacement for Glesnes. Clearly, I think.
Yeah, I mean they're going up to the Scandinavian leagues, like up north, Northern Europe. They've been there before. That's where we got Ua. He turned out pretty good, so I think they're gonna stick with that process. He's played in qualifiers in the Champions League and the Europa League. Um, I mean, I think he should be solid, but we'll see. It's always a hit or miss with these guys, the way the management runs it. But we'll see.
Yeah, it was a fee of $1.5 million, and I think we're looking here for him to be a really good locker room leader, kind of to fill that presence of Glesnes, and that's really what Bradley Carnell has talked about. We'll see if he comes out and starts right away as the starting center back next to Macania, assuming Macania stays this season, because we've had actually some other transfers around the board, and there's more talk of even more transfers. So next up, we've got Finn Sunderstrom from North Carolina FC through DC United by waivers, and he's coming in as only a 19-year-old who can play pretty much anywhere. He's played center back, right back, attacking mid even, and all we traded for him was a first round draft pick in 2028. So I think this is a great deal for the Union. He's only 19. He played over 2,500 minutes last year in MLS Next, and it just looks like a great deal, kind of rebuilding that young core, hopefully to play him next to Macania or even at right or left back.
Yeah, he's definitely a versatile player. I like how we use the draft pick, seeing as the Union never seemed to use him.
Yeah.
They always trade him away on the last day, so it's good to actually get a solid player that's been a little proven in the U.S. But I think he will probably play in the center back role with competing with Sari Larson for one of those like Glesnes' old spot. But he's definitely versatile, and I like what we got out of the deal there for him.
Totally, and with tons of games this year between Leagues Cup, CONCACAF Champions Cup, and MLS, he'll definitely have opportunity with the first team. I don't even see him playing with Union 2 because we've just got so many games, and he can play. He can play pretty much anywhere along that back line, and there's obviously holes to fill. So I think it's a great transfer, and like you said, the draft picks, most years we end up trading them on draft day for GAM, maybe 50K, 100K. So I think this is a great move overall. On the other side, departures. Mikkel Ua is going back to Denmark to FC Midtjylland on a free transfer. His contract expired here. We knew he was going to want a lot of money, and we couldn't really guarantee him this because we didn't know if he would start, what's going on up front. So he goes back. I thought his first season here was historic, honestly, that trio, Ua, Gazdag, and Carranza. And it's sad to see him go. Really likable guy. This year off the bench, he's been really good.
Yeah, definitely. His first year was his best. He was a good quality move when we got him. A record transfer at the time, I think. But yeah, the three-headed dragon there. I mean, all three of them are gone now. It's a long time in the past. But yeah, he was mostly just a super sub the last season. And I mean, he wanted DP money, and we weren't going to give him that because he's not a star striker he was anymore. So he's going to have to leave. I wish we could have maybe sold him and got some money out of it, but it was a good way to go out. There was no farewell though, which kind of sucks because he was there and he was a big player. He took us to MLS Cup, part of that group. But yeah, he was definitely a bit shaky towards the end of his run here, but he was still a good player.
Yeah, totally. And happy to see him go back home to to Denmark. So that's great for him. And then probably the biggest move for the Union was Kai Wagner to Birmingham City FC for 2.5 million. And we knew that Kai Wagner was going to leave at some point. Obviously, he's been rumored for years, but finally he goes. And this is a really sad one, but happy to see him go on. Obviously, move on with his dream, try to make it big in Europe. club leader in assists, over 50 assists, and over 250 appearances. And for me, obviously the best left back ever for the Union, and probably the best left back to ever play in MLS. Really just a club legend all across the board.
Yeah, he's a great player. I mean, you knew he was leaving at some point. I honestly thought he'd be leaving sooner. I think back the year we played New England in the first round, and he had some accusations of verbal abuse, but I think that really slowed down his move. But overall, I'm not surprised at all by the move. He's been playing great already. His first game, he got his first assist. And I feel like we could have gotten more money for him, but I mean, he was leaving at some point, and he was a really good wing back, and I think he'll be back again when he gets towards the end of his career. He said that in his farewell post. He said that he would try to come back at some point. But outside of that, I mean, like I heard some rumors about it. They were trying to say he was forced out of the club. I don't see that happening because he would have been very straightforward with that, I think. And I don't see the Union doing that to someone like Kai.
Yeah. Actually, from what they've said in the preseason press conferences, it sounds quite the opposite, like you said. But we'll get into that later. Another departure, Chris Donovan to Louisville City FC, and we knew he was out. Obviously, there's too much up top for the Union to be keeping Chris Donovan. He had a couple big goals for the club, always ready to put on a shift. But overall, I mean, we knew he was going to go. Sad to see him go, but obviously got to make way for these younger guys, Eddie Davis, Aladou, Damiani, all these guys. So much up there, and it's just hard to keep everyone. So I would look for him to be pretty successful in USL. He's pacey. He can get in behind. I wouldn't be surprised if he does really well and actually comes back probably to the MLS, not to us, but maybe to another MLS Next club or someone like that.
Yeah, no, he always put in a shift. He had good work ethic. He was very fast. I think he'll be a solid addition to Louisville, but I didn't see him playing here anymore, especially with all the new younger strikers coming in, and Aladou, of course. So yeah, I think it's a good move for him. He'll definitely get more playing time there, and overall, it will clear off the depth chart a little bit to have some easier decisions for Bradley Carnell.
Totally. Back on the signing side, we re-signed Ben Bender, who was out of contract, and this is a great move for the Union with such a large roster needed with so many games coming up this year. So he's been playing actually at left back a little bit, according to Carnell, and we didn't really see this coming as he was playing in the attacking mid spot, but it'll be interesting to see how he does there because obviously Wagner's gone. When he was on the field this year, I thought he looked pretty solid. He looked like he could play at that level. I think he just needs more opportunity, and I think this is a perfect time with so many games this year.
Yeah, I think coming in, I didn't see anything too flashy from him from what we saw in the season. He was definitely playing out of position a little bit. I think when he does get up into the wing, I think he will be a little flashier. You'll be able to point him out. But I think getting a full season in, I think he should be able to make a big difference. So I'll be excited to see what he could do this year, seeing as he didn't make too much of an impact, but I think he definitely has the potential to be a good player for this team.
Totally. Another re-signing, Ale Bedoya. It's like, when will he ever retire? So he's going back for another year, hopefully to get that MLS Cup. And I think, again, he'll be taking less of a player role, more of a role behind the scenes. So we'll see how that works out. Obviously, one of the best guys. He's just such a great leader for the team. I think he's the most important presence in the locker room without a doubt. And, yeah.
Yeah, huge player. I mean, he's a club legend at this point. It's really surprising every year he just managed to come back for another. I thought last year he was going to come back as a coach, but he's still playing. I mean, I don't know. The faith we have him kind of shaky for me, especially seeing after the game at Columbus this past year at right back. I know he doesn't play right back, but it's just a little worrisome seeing as he is a bit shaky at this point. But I think they will just keep him because he seems like a great leader, especially in the locker room, and he's an important part of the team. So I think it is a good move to keep him there, especially coming off a season where you're going to have a lot of new guys coming in, still kind of breaking in Bradley Carnell after his first season. So I think it is important to have a leader like that there. So I think that is a part of why they re-signed him.
Totally. And like you said, so many young guys coming in. he's the perfect guy to, watch him train, talk to him, learn more about the game. Just such a great presence. And I think there's no doubt he'll end up becoming a coach for the Union or somewhere else. He clearly knows the game so well. So definitely just a good move to bring him back and have that presence in the locker room. And then another signing, somewhat, Stas Korzeniowski, who was on Union 2, signed his first team contract a couple of days ago, and he's a guy who he was drafted out of Penn. We know the Union don't usually make draft picks. He's a striker. He's tall. He had a great season for Union 2. Really great. They didn't really see that coming out of him, I don't think. No one really expected him to be so good. And I think he's actually going to be a dark horse to play a lot this season up top and get a lot of minutes through all the games. He's great depth at striker. Like I said, a great campaign for Union 2. And he actually scored in the friendly on Tuesday in Spain. So definitely interesting to see him get that contract. And I think he's going to do a lot more than people expect.
Yeah, he definitely had a good run last season. I'll be excited to see him play, especially after that goal on the friendly, the 1-1 tie. He was signed shortly after that. He was impressive watching his highlights last year. I think he will be a good addition to the team, especially with the depth at striker, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play.
Yeah, totally. Lots of competition up there for striker, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him come out on top despite Marcus Anderson, Eddie Davis, Damiani, Aladou, him as well, maybe Alowski, but I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, to see him play. And then pretty much the last move so far has been Neil Pierre loaned out to a team in the Danish Super League who we actually have part ownership, he has part ownership in. And this is an interesting move. He had a really great season at Union 2. He's been around the Union for so long, and he's only 18. Big, tall center back, and played with U.S. youth national team a lot. I honestly thought he would be in the running to get some first-team minutes this year, if not start. He obviously played a whole season for Union 2 last year, and I think he got 20 minutes this year for the Union top team. So I would assume this is a move for more minutes, but I would hope that we don't lose out on him and end up selling him after the loan. Hopefully he'll come back and be ready to take a starting role.
Yeah, I think from what we saw from him the past season, I really think he is going to improve off of this loan. Because, he needs minutes. He's young. Playing in the Danish league, it's a good level. It's above MLS Next, I think. And just a little below, maybe a bit even with some of the teams in MLS. I think it's a really good level for him, and he'll definitely find minutes. And if he does come back, they don't sell him, trigger the sell clause. I think he will be a big part if he does get minutes over there and come back. I think he'll be a good contender for a first-team spot. Because I think he didn't break into the team earlier because of the level that we have back there. So I think getting those minutes, he'll come back as a lot better of a player and definitely be in the running for one of those big spots.
Yeah, totally. And that really sums up most of the signings so far. We know more is going to happen. There's still roughly a month before the season starts, and we've actually heard a little more into transfers coming out of last week's preseason press conference between Bradley Carnell and John Shear, the youth director. So they started off, they've had a lot to say, and I thought it was a really good press conference. They said they honored Kai Wagner's dream by allowing him to go to Europe and play. We knew he was going to go, and I think this is actually really great from the club to let him move on and, take that big role. Hopefully, I think there's a world he makes it to the Premier League next year even. He's already off to such a great start.
Yeah, no, it's a great move for him, I think. It sucks for us because he's a great wing back, one of the best in the league to ever do it. It sucks to see him go, but he definitely deserves it. I think he'll be a huge part of that Birmingham team, which you've already seen. He's been a huge contributor already. So I think that's really good for him. Just sucks to see him go, like you said. But, yeah.
Yeah, and then we've heard from Bradley Carnell, actually, that Ben Bender has, like we said earlier, he's been getting a run out at left back. And this is pretty interesting seeing as he was playing in that cam role, wide midfielder role this season for most of the time. So seeing him drop deeper, it will be interesting to see him have a run out. Obviously, that left back spot, it's pretty open. We don't know who's going to start there after Wagner's left. I personally think we'll probably end up seeing Westfield there, but maybe we'll get a signing. Maybe Sunderstrom will play there. It's hard to know.
Yeah, no, it'll be really interesting to see what we do back there. I think Frankie Westfield is going to take that left back spot, but he'll definitely have to compete for it. I don't think it's going to be handed to him this year. So it'll be interesting to see who gets that.
Yeah, and then we've heard more transfers are to come, and this is not surprising because we actually have a lot of money in GAM, as well as just we need a lot of players. We've got a lot of games this year. First game is actually on the 18th, I believe, in February. It's away for CONCACAF Champions Cup, so got a quick season coming up ahead, and we just need a lot more players. I assume we'll see Martinez, the center back, come in officially. We've heard he was coming in. He didn't end up coming in. I think we'll see him, but I think we'll also see a lot more. Maybe another wide midfielder, because from what we've heard, Sullivan, he's making great progress on his recovery from the ACL, but I think it's going to be a long season without him. Probably won't see him for maybe half the year.
Yeah, that'll be a huge loss still coming back this season, but I think he'll probably be back towards the end of the season, but it's going to suck. It's going to be a hole in our midfield, man, but hopefully the new transfers will help fill that in, and they'll get off to a good start, especially in the Champions League.
Yeah, totally. And then speaking of Sullivans, Cavan Sullivan, we've heard he's developing great, which we knew this was going to come. He obviously looked really good in the minutes he actually got last year. He had a huge increase in minutes last year, and I think we'll see even more minutes this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see him actually maybe even start some more games. We've heard that, developmentally, right, he's doing really well, and I think Carnell wants to get him to play more. Obviously, we only have 2 more years with him, so it'll be really exciting to see what we get from him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, definitely with more minutes now. I think maybe we see him starting games, maybe. Depends on how the new transfers go. But with such a long season ahead, I mean, maybe if the rest of them guys, maybe we'll get to see another start out of him, which would be really cool. But outside of that, I mean, he's been looking like a really good player, and we're just excited to see him keep growing.
Yeah, and there's lots of excitement around Aladu. Carnell said he's looking really good. I think it's really tough to come in to the Union system a lot of the time because he hasn't played in a system like this. So obviously, it might take some time for him to really get ready to play and be able to get those big minutes. But club record signing, he's strong, he's fast, he provides a little bit of both sides of the ball. He can hold up, he's good with the ball, but he's a little bit like Uwa and Baribo, I would say. So I think we're going to see a lot out of him, and I'm really excited to see him. He's only 20, he's on a U22 initiative, so he's getting paid a lot, but I think he's going to do really well for the club.
Yeah, he looks like a very clinical striker. He's fast, strong. That's what we need up top. I mean, I don't think it'll be a flop. I think we'll get a good production out of him, especially coming into this season. I think he holds the top spot right now. I think him and Olaski, hold the top spots up in attack. But we'll see. Hopefully, he'll turn out well.
Yeah, and with so much up top, it'll be interesting to see who we start because we've heard that Olaski will probably play at the 10, but obviously we've also got Vasilov going for that 10 spot. Bender, like we said, eventually Quinn Sullivan will play. Cavan will get some minutes. And then farther upfield, like at the 9, we'll see Damiani, Aladu, Korzeniowski, Eddie Davis. So there's a lot up there. And I think it'll be interesting to see who plays. But I really think we have to play Aladu and likely Damiani. At the end of the season, he really started to heat up. And speaking of him, he changed to the number 9, and Olowski's now wearing number 10.
Yeah, the number changes, of course, come before the season. I mean, I kind of like the 32 with Olowski, but it'll definitely look cooler. It'll be more in the numbering system, I guess you could say, with a lower number, but we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't change his play. But outside of that, it's still a big question about how they're going to set up this year, if it will be the same, because we know Carnell at St. Louis, I don't think he changed up that much in the second year, and they kind of got ran out of the league coming off of that. So hopefully this year he switches it up. It's hard to know, though, this year, especially with how under wraps they keep the preseason. We know so far they've tied 1-1 in the first one, and then earlier today, they lost 2-1. They scored a goal to get back one in stoppage time in the second half, but they did take a loss 2-1. And I mean, we'll see. We can't see who scored. We can't see when they scored, except for the fact that it was in stoppage time in the second half. But it'll be interesting to see how they come out of here and see what form they play with.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, all these new players will see likely a different formation, I think, still. You've got so many more options up top, so many different ways to go. I think you could even line up with wingers, honestly. You could throw Oloski on the wing, put Aladu up top, find someone else to play left wing, maybe Vasilov. I think there's a lot of options up there for sure. And then around the MLS, it's been a pretty busy window. We've had some pretty big transfers and then some other transfers that maybe they're not the biggest name, but I think they'll have the most impact. For me, Dane St. Clair to Inter Miami, this is going to go down subtly as the biggest transfer of this window. Dane St. Clair, for me, the best goalkeeper in the MLS by far. It's a free transfer, and Inter Miami just showing they're still willing to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, Dane St. Clair, he is arguably the best goalkeeper in the league. Minnesota, I don't know what they're going to do back there because that was their whole thing this year, defense. And if you lose such a great goalkeeper, it's hard to see who you're going to fill him in with. But on a free transfer, too, you don't get anything out of it. That's going to suck for them. But Inter Miami, they're just building a super roster, it seems, especially with the rest of the signings they had over the season. They did lose Busquets and Alba, but still, they just have a super team at the moment. And Dane St. Clair is only going to improve that because last year, the only thing holding them back was their defense. It ended up not being as big of a deal when we got into the playoffs like we worried. But, I mean, fixing that defense now, the attack is still as great. It will probably be just as great as it was last year. I don't see anything that's stopping this team from doing huge things this year.
Yeah, and with Alba leaving, they quickly went on and signed Sergio Reguilon on a free transfer. He most recently played with Tottenham in London, and he's a pretty good left back, and it's interesting to see he can just come across quickly to play for Miami. I thought he'd stay in Europe. He's obviously had stints at Brentford, Tottenham. He's played in Spain, so he's definitely going to be a big player for them on the defensive and offensive side looking to go forward. And then down in D.C., we saw another big DP striker move, which is interesting because obviously Baribo goes along to D.C., and now they've signed Luis Montinho from the Romanian top flight, and he actually won the Golden Boot last year with 19 goals in the Romanian league. And a fee of up to $10 million, that's a lot for a player coming from the Romanian league. And it's just a really interesting transfer. They've now got this strong two up top, obviously replacing Benteke. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, no, the two unexpected moves, I think Miami and Reguilon more unexpected, seeing as I thought Reguilon would want to stay over in Europe. It's a huge drop, I think, in quality. I really thought he would have stayed over there, especially coming from Tottenham, bigger team like that. I was really surprised. But then Montanu, like you said, going to DC, they have Ty Baribo and him now. I mean, what we usually have seen in the past, they've been kind of flops recently. DC has not performed well, especially with going out and buying new players. I mean, who knows this year? Maybe they'll actually have a lethal attack for once, because we know how clinical Ty Baribo is. And now Moutinho, we haven't seen him play yet. We don't know any clips, but it's kind of worrisome seeing them coming up. And maybe that'll ruin our run down in DC, but we'll see.
Yeah, totally. And obviously, they haven't found much success recently. DC haven't been to the playoffs in many years, and they're really just going for this full roster clean out, really switching things around. And I think they have the chance to definitely be something special, because you can't be that bad for that long. Honestly, there's no better way to put it. Down in Nashville, Christian Espinoza signs to Nashville, coming in as a free agent signing, but he was most recently with San Jose Earthquakes, and this is a really amazing signing for Nashville. He's a two-time MVP this year in 2025 and in 2023. He has the most assists in San Jose club history, and overall, he's just a really creative, exciting winger to watch.
Yeah, It was very surprising to me, especially with the way it went down with San Jose, because they forgot to trigger his option. They didn't trigger his option, so he left on a free, their best striker at the moment, bringing in Timo Werner. They would have had a lethal attack then. And then they don't trigger his option. He leaves on a free. You get nothing back from it, and he goes to Nashville, who were a great team last year. They're going to be even better this year, especially with Christian Espinoza. But you got to think someone's getting fired in the San Jose management because forgetting to re-sign your best player, just didn't even have to re-sign him, just trigger the option for him to stay another year, and you don't do it. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Maybe something behind the scenes with him and the club, but they haven't said anything about it. The only thing we know is that they didn't trigger the option. They lost him on a free, that's horrible going into the season if you're a San Jose fan.
It's honestly crazy to me that they then go out and get Timo Werner, and you think, imagine Timo Werner getting the service from Christian Espinoza. Obviously, Timo Werner, so pacey, clinical, that amazing season at Leipzig in 2020, 2021, and then he goes on to Chelsea. It's just makes no sense that they forget to make this move, but you have to think now Nashville coming in honestly with the best attack in the league. That front three with Surridge, McHugh, and Espinoza now. I mean, Surridge is he might put up 50 goals this year.
Definitely. I mean, that's a force to be reckoned with because you have San Jose's leader in assists who comes to Nashville, whose only problem you could have said was maybe the service into their top two. Now you've got one of the greatest playmakers in the league at the moment, arguably, coming in to support them. That's going to be very dangerous. I mean, they did lose Walker Zimmerman in the back, which could be worrisome, and Jacob Schaffelberg, he's gone. So that is a worry, but that attack, I mean, I wouldn't at all be surprised to see all three of them breaking double digits in goals and assists because the three of them can all play off each other now.
Yeah, I mean, last year we saw a Nashville team where I believe at least 70% of goals were coming from McHugh and Surridge, which is crazy. You could either say, wow, that's how good Surridge and McHugh have been, or you could say, what the hell is everyone else doing?
Yeah.
So now we've got Espinoza up there, and this is just going to be great for Nashville. Obviously, like you said, the only worry is going to be at the back where Walker Zimmerman leaves on a free and goes to Toronto. And he said that he wants to stay in MLS and go down as the greatest defender in MLS history. And honestly, if he keeps it up, I think he could be on that pace.
I mean, yeah, he's getting older. He's still performing well. He didn't do any – I don't think there were any horrible mistakes this year. He's been good. There's nothing to doubt him. Going to Toronto, who have been – the train wreck essentially the past couple of years. Bad coaching, bad management. They've lost the two guys they signed that were supposed to be the next stars. There are rumors now with Toronto and Josh Sargent over in Norwich. Got Josh Sargent essentially forced out of the club because Toronto apparently made an $18 million fee. Reached out and Sargent essentially thought he was going there, which could have really helped them. The fee was turned down, and Sargent got essentially forced out of the club. So it's interesting to see over there with an American striker in Sargent, one of the most promising ones a couple of years ago. Could have been coming to Toronto. It's not sure now, but they're bolstering that back line. I don't see anything in the attack if they don't get Sargent too. So huge for them, but still
obviously Toronto they missed on Insigne, bad signing. Missed on Bernadeschi, so another bad signing. They now look to rebuild. They haven't made the playoffs since 2020, where they were the 2 seed. The Union was the 1 seed. It's a really long time. I think Walker he's obviously going to be a great leader at the back. He's consistent. You know he's going to put in a good shift, but they need a lot more around him. Sargent would be really exciting to see play in MLS for Toronto, but I don't know if it's going to end up happening. Like you said, $18 million, that is a ton of money. It's crazy how Toronto goes out, spends so much money, and they've just kept missing on transfers. But we'll have to see. And then the last rumor that we've heard is Lewandowski coming across maybe in the summer, and this would be really exciting. Obviously, a super clinical striker coming from Barcelona. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Chicago. Huge Polish population in Chicago. So we'll see about that. It's going to be a really exciting window. I think that's where we're going to end it here. thank you all for watching. This is me, Christopher Colman, with Theo Kuchar, Cristiano Forcino on the production.